Hello children, this is part 3 of chapter 1 Chemical Reactions and Equations. Children, from our previous videos on this chapter, we are clear with reactants and products. Just a recap. Suppose I take an element A and mix it with aqueous solution of B taken in a test tube. After chemical reaction, I get C and D. So whatever is written on the left hand side of this arrow is known as reactants, and that on the right side of this arrow is known as the products. Now suppose A that I had taken is zinc granule, B is dilute sulfuric acid H2SO4. Then after a reaction, it gives zinc sulfate as C, and D is the hydrogen gas that is evolving in this reaction. It is observed that the reactants are getting converted into products. So here, conversion of reactants into products in a chemical reaction is often accompanied by some changes which can be observed easily. So in this chemical reaction, we are seeing that the reactant is getting converted into product, and during the conversion in this chemical reaction, zinc metal is solid, dilute sulfuric acid is aqueous. It formed zinc sulfate, which is again aqueous, along with the evolution of hydrogen gas. So here this S stands for solid, aqueous, AQ for aqueous, and G for gas. These are the various states of the reactants and the products. So these are observable changes, means on the reactant side I had taken solid and aqueous solution. After reaction, I am not getting any solid. I am getting the aqueous solution of zinc sulfate with the evolution of hydrogen gas. So these conversion of reactants into products in a chemical reaction is accompanied by some changes, and these changes are easily observable. Let us take another example. Suppose I take calcium oxide in a beaker and I pour water into it. So after reaction it forms calcium hydroxide. So here calcium oxide is solid and water is poured into it, which is liquid, and what I am getting is calcium hydroxide, which is aqueous. And along with this, when I touch the beaker in which the reaction is taking place, I find that the beaker is hot. So here what we observe is solid and liquid has changed into aqueous solution along with the production of heat. Such observable changes are known as characteristics of chemical reactions. When one or more of such changes occurs, then we can say that chemical reaction is taking place. So these are known as the characteristics of chemical reactions. So there are certain characteristics which occurs during the chemical reactions. They are change of state, change in color of substance, change in temperature of substance, formation of precipitate, evolution of light or sound, evolution of gas. Here whatever example we have seen, change of state is taking place along with the production of sound and heat in this reaction. So we can say that in a chemical reaction, one or many of such changes can occur. Children, most likely question for board exam on this topic is state certain observations which help us to determine that a chemical reaction has taken place. Write one example of each observation with a balanced chemical equations. In this video, I'll discuss all the observations with examples, and the part of balancing the chemical equation will be explained in detail in some other video. So let us move on. Children, in class 9 chapter 1 matter in our surroundings, we had studied that solid, liquid and gas are different physical states of matter. And in chapter 2, is matter around us pure, we learned that any solution is prepared by mixing solute and solvent. Here Solute is the substance that dissolve to make a solution, and it is present in less quantity. And solvent is the substance that does the dissolving, that is, it dissolves the solute. Solvent is present in large quantity. For example, in salt solution, salt is the solute which is present in less quantity, and water is the solvent which is present in large quantity. In sugar solution, sugar is the solute present in small quantity, and water is the solvent present in large quantity. In carbonated beverages, carbon dioxide is the solute present in a small quantity, dissolved in water which is present in large quantity. Likewise, any acids such as HCl, hydrochloric acid, or H2SO4, sulfuric acid, or any base such as sodium hydroxide NaOH or potassium hydroxide KOH. When these solutes are dissolved in water as a solvent, then these solutions are known as aqueous solution. So we can say that aqueous solution is such a solution in which water is the solvent. Children, the word aqueous is derived from the Latin word aqua, meaning water. So wherever you see aqueous, think water. Now, one more thing I'll mention here. If solute dissolves in solvent other than water, then such a solution is called non-aqueous solution. Means no water. For example, solution of iodine in alcohol, which is also known as tincture of iodine. Or in daily life, you must have observed that oil paint brush cannot be cleaned with water. To clean such oil paint brush, we need paint thinner, which is non-aqueous solution. I hope you have understood what is an aqueous solution, what is a non-aqueous solution. Now, back to the topic, change in state. In this example, when wax candle is burnt, it forms carbon dioxide as gas and water in the form of steam is liberated. So here, wax is the solid, steam or water vapor is the liquid, and carbon dioxide is the gas. So during the combustion of wax, the physical state changes from solid to liquid to gas. Thus, we can say that a candle is a great example of all three states of matter, where the candle is a solid, the melted candle is liquid, which change into water vapor, and the flame is carbon dioxide gas. Let us see another example, burning of magnesium in air. Here, magnesium ribbon is taken and it is rubbed with sandpaper to remove the protective layer of magnesium oxide from the surface of the magnesium ribbon so that it may readily react with oxygen from air on heating and forms magnesium oxide, which is white powder. Here you can see. This magnesium ribbon burns with dazzling bright light and the ash is in the form of white powder, which is collected here in this china dish. So here change in state is seen. Magnesium ribbon, which is taken as a silvery white solid, when it reacts with oxygen gas from air, it forms magnesium oxide, which is white powder solid. Let us see another example, reaction of hydrogen and oxygen. Children, hydrogen does not react with oxygen at room temperature. For the reaction to happen, a source of energy is required to ignite the mixture. Here in this figure, hydrogen is taken in a balloon and it is ignited with candle as the source of energy. When it bursts, it reacts with oxygen present in the atmosphere. In this reaction, considerable amount of energy is released, and here steam is also produced, which upon cooling gives water. So here the hydrogen is an element which is gaseous in nature. It combines with another element, oxygen, which is again gaseous in nature. When these two combine, it forms hydrogen oxide or dihydrogen monoxide, which is commonly called as water. So here change in state is seen. Hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas, but the product that is being formed is liquid, which puts out the fire. Next example where change of state is taking place is the process of photosynthesis. Here plant takes in carbon dioxide gas from air and water in liquid state from the soil in the presence of sunlight and green pigment called chlorophyll present in the leaves. It gives glucose solution which is in aqueous state with the evolution of oxygen gas. So here carbon dioxide is gas, water is liquid. It gets converted into aqueous glucose or sugar with the release of oxygen gas. Next characteristics of chemical reaction we will talk about is change in color of substance. Here iron in solid state, when it reacts with copper sulfate solution which is deep blue in color, after a reaction it forms iron sulfate which is light green in color, and a reddish brown layer of copper metal gets deposited on this gray iron nail as shown here in this figure. So iron is a solid, copper sulfate which is deep blue in color is an aqueous solution. It forms a layer of copper which is reddish brown in color along with the formation of iron sulfate solution, aqueous in nature, and it is light green in color. Here iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. This iron nail gets covered with a reddish brown layer of copper metal. Next example, again showing the change in color of substance. When colorless aqueous solution of potassium iodide is added to colorless aqueous solution of lead nitrate, then bright yellow color of lead iodide forms at once into the colorless potassium nitrate solution. So here also change in color is seen from colorless to bright yellow color. So lead nitrate is a colorless solution. Potassium iodide is also colorless solution as seen here in this figure. When mixed, it forms yellow color lead iodide, which is seen here as a precipitate in the colorless potassium nitrate solution. Children, note here one more thing. This yellow colored insoluble product which is formed is called as precipitate. Although we will talk about it in a while. So this lead iodide is a precipitate. So we can say that precipitation is the formation of an insoluble product when colorless solution of lead nitrate and potassium iodide are mixed. Then a yellow precipitate of lead iodide is formed, which is shown with an arrow pointing downward. This is how the formation of precipitate is shown in a chemical reaction. Next characteristics we will talk about is change in temperature of substance. Children, some chemical reaction produces heat energy which makes the reaction mixture hot, whereas some chemical reactions absorb heat energy which makes the reaction mixture cold. So when we talk about the change in temperature, it can be both rise in temperature or fall in temperature in the reaction. So the reaction involving rise in temperature are those in which heat is evolved. Such reactions are called as an exothermic reaction, where exo means to give out and therm means heat. Let us see some example of exothermic reaction where heat is given out. In this example, calcium oxide, which is also called as quicklime, is taken in a hard glass beaker and water is poured into it. After reaction, it is seen that this calcium oxide gets converted into calcium hydroxide with the release of heat. This can be felt by touching the beaker because the temperature rises and the beaker becomes hot. This is explained in a chemical equation as calcium oxide, which is also called as quicklime or lime, is solid in its state. When it is mixed with water, liquid in state, it gives calcium hydroxide, solid in state. This calcium hydroxide is also called as slaked lime, and heat is evolved in this reaction. This heat can be felt by touching the beaker. This shows that temperature rises in this reaction. Children, note here that this solid calcium hydroxide, which is also known as slaked lime, is a white powder. And this white powder, when it is mixed with lots of water, it becomes aqueous, which is used for whitewashing our house. Let us see another example showing rise in temperature. Burning of coal or charcoal in air. Coal or charcoal is basically carbon, which is solid in its state. When it burns in oxygen from air, it forms carbon dioxide gas with the evolution of heat energy. So when you look at this figure, this solid carbon, when burnt, it liberates carbon dioxide gas, and heat is also evolved in this reaction. So here also rise in temperature is seen, and hence this is an exothermic reaction. Let us see one more example showing rise in temperature. Here zinc granule is taken in a test tube and dilute sulfuric acid is poured over it. The reaction immediately starts, leads to the formation of aqueous zinc sulfate solution with the liberation of hydrogen gas, and when the beaker is touched, it feels warm. So now let us talk about such chemical reaction where fall in temperature occurs. So the reaction involving fall in temperature are those in which heat is absorbed. Such reactions are called as endothermic reaction. For example, when barium hydroxide is added to ammonium chloride and it is stirred with glass rod, then barium chloride, ammonia gas and water are formed. Here lot of energy is absorbed, due to which the reaction becomes cold. So this is an endothermic reaction showing absorption of heat. Now let us talk about formation of precipitate. When two reactants are mixed, if one of the product formed is insoluble in water, then it is called precipitate, written as PPT or precipitate, and is indicated by an arrow pointing downward. For example, when an aqueous solution of colorless potassium iodide is mixed with an aqueous solution of colorless lead nitrate solution, it forms lead iodide at once, which is bright yellow in color, and this lead iodide is insoluble product in the colorless potassium nitrate solution. So lead nitrate is colorless aqueous solution, potassium iodide is colorless aqueous solution, and when they are mixed together it forms yellow colored precipitate lead iodide, which is shown with an arrow pointing downward, along with the colorless aqueous solution of potassium nitrate. So we can say that precipitation is the formation of an insoluble product. Another example showing the formation of precipitate is when colorless sodium sulfate solution is taken and it is mixed with colorless barium chloride solution. A white precipitate of barium sulfate solution forms at once, as seen here in this figure, along with colorless sodium chloride solution. The change in state is clear from the reaction. Sodium sulfate is colorless aqueous solution, Barium chloride is again colorless aqueous solution. When these two are mixed together, it forms white precipitate of barium sulfate, which is shown here in the reaction as an arrow pointing downward, along with the formation of colorless sodium chloride solution. Now, let us talk about another characteristics showing evolution of a gas. Here in this figure, you can see evolution of different gases are taking place. Let us study the activity which is given in our NCERT. For the evolution of gas, we will talk about this example. Here, when green colored ferrous sulfate crystals are heated in a test tube, it changes to solid ferric oxide. Sulfur dioxide gas has the characteristic odor or a smell of burning sulfur. Children, the correct way of heating and smelling the gas is shown in this figure. You should take care that you do not point the mouth of the test tube towards yourself or towards your friend. And the smell of the gas should also be felt by gently wafting the gas towards the nose. It should not be smelt directly because this sulfur dioxide is a suffocating gas. Children, note here that this ferrous sulfate crystal FeSO4 into 7H2O on heating, it decomposes to anhydrous ferrous sulfate FeSO4. Anhydrous means when the water is not present. This means without water. So when the green ferrous sulfate crystal is heated, the water gets evaporated and forms anhydrous ferrous sulfate FeSO4, which is white in color. This is shown here in this reaction, FeSO4 into 7H2O. This is green ferrous sulfate crystal. On heating, it loses the water of crystallization and forms FeSO4, which is white in color, plus 7H2O. Thus, we have seen that the product formed on a strongly heating ferrous sulfate crystals, we get ferric oxide, Fe2O3, sulfur dioxide, SO2, and sulfur trioxide, SO3. Now let us see another example showing the evolution of gas. Here, lead nitrate, which is a colorless powder, is taken in a test tube. This lead nitrate, when heated in a boiling tube, it forms yellow lead oxide along with the evolution of brown nitrogen dioxide fume, and oxygen gas is also evolved in this reaction. This is clear from the equation. Lead nitrate, which is colorless powder, solid in its state, when heated, it gives yellow lead oxide, solid in its state, with the evolution of brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide as shown here in this figure, and oxygen gas also evolves in this reaction. Yes, children, we have completed all the aspects of observations or characteristics of the chemical reactions in detail with several examples of each observations. I hope everything is clear to you. See you in part 4, where we will discuss how to balance chemical equations in a real simple easy way. Thank you, children, for watching and playing. This is Anupama ma'am signing off.